Hello, and this is a tutorial how to bring in animated sprites. For this tutorial, I'm going to be downloading a sprite sheet off of the internet. Well, actually, I've done that already, and bringing it in from a file. You can see in the background here the file that I'm going to bring it in from. It wasn't the best file, but that's just the way it is. The people that make these things really don't think about size and distance in between the images. You can do a better job in Photoshop if you make them yourselves, but that's a different tutorial. So here's the one I already brought in. I just double clicked on it like that, and I'm going to edit the sprite. See the preview. I've got my little animation here of 8 frames 0 through 7. Okay, so that's kind of our goal, to be able to bring it in again like that. Now the first thing you want to do is figure out how big you want to make all your sprites in the game. I'm going to have my smallest sprite, because this is a tutorial and I want it to be big and for you to see it well, as 64 by 64. So I've set the snap in the room as 64 by 64 so they fit really well in the room. That is really important. If you have sprites that are all different sizes and you are loading different sprites onto an object, it's not going to look right. Well, let's get started. Let's create a sprite. Now, let's go into Edit. Now, ideally, I would go File, and I would go Create from Strip. I mean, that's the best thing, because you can just go in here. I want to remove the background. And you would say I got 1, 2, 3, 4 images, and you'd go 4 in a row. Start it here. Well, they look about 75 by 75, so I can get that to fit on the first image pretty good, but see what's happening here. This one, because this wasn't made right, is going to pop off and cut the head off, and this one isn't lined up here. I can try to say that there's a less of a separation in between, and that's coming out okay, but I'm cutting the hand off right here, so I need to bring that back. Let's try that. 15. Oh, but now I'm cutting the right off. And then when I bring it in, it's going to be all 75 by 75, and I'd have to scale it down. So that's nice when that works, but for this example and most, it's just not going to work. So here's what I'm going to do instead. To ensure they are all the right size, I'm going to make a new one of 64 by 64. That'll create my standard right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add from strip. Add another image from the strip. Select it. I'm going to remove the background and hit OK. Now I'm only going to add one at a time. So I'll change that to 1. And this fits pretty good at 64. Let's try to find the biggest one so I can just use the same numbers. That is definitely not going to work. So 75 for the height, and let's try the width of 75. It still chops off the hand. I'm trying to line it up at the left hand edge and get all this set, and then I'm going to make it a little wider. So if I don't have the image kind of in the same spot of the left hand edge, it'll move back and forth in my animation. It won't look good. People tend to look at the left hand edge. Alright, so that one looks pretty good, about 80 by 75. Alright, let's bring it in. Now this is an important step here. Keep original size, don't place top left or center. We're going to stretch it to meet the size of this. Okay, there's my preview. Great. Now I can get rid of this. Don't need it anymore. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add from strip. We're going to remove the background. We have this one selected. We'll hit open. And let's try 80 by 75. Now I did make a mistake. I'm going to have to move these around later. I should have brought in the first one first. Got a little ahead of myself. So this one is going to have its feet off the ground like that. So the height and width are a little big. 75. 70 looks pretty good. Height is too much. 70 by 70. Yeah, I got a little tiny gap here. Probably get rid of that. All right, that's pretty close. Okay, stretch it, put it there. Boom. Yay. Okay, so there we go. What I can do now, I'm going to move the image to the left. Now I got them in the right order. I'm on the third image, right? File, add from strip, remove background. You get the swing of it. Open it up. There's the third one. Probably the width of 75. Let's try 75 by 75. Line up to the top and the left hand. So I don't lose. So this isn't perfect because the left hand's here. The head is going to move over a little bit, and it's not gonna. It's going to look a little jittery. So let's go with the width of a little bit more. About 80. His feet are off the ground, but that's okay. He's jumping, right? Bring that in. Keep original. Stretch. Boom. There's that one. And I'm just going to bring the next one in and pause the recording for right now. Okay, I got that last one in there, and there's my little preview. So let's make an object for it. Name it right. Let's go SPR player 2. Hit OK. Is my mouse in the right position? Right click, create an object. OBJ player 2. Looks good. Let's throw the player 2 sprite on it. Let's come in the room. Player 2 is already selected. So let's go put player 2 here. And let's put player 1 here. I want to show you something. Close it and run it. Now I'm going to look at the sprite speed to see how fast the transition is between the two of them. The original player 1, I think I slowed that one down a little bit. So you have to decide which one you want. That one does seem a little bit slower. I mean, you know, I'll show you how I slowed this one down. So in player 1, you notice that there's 8 frames. Oops, I can't do that. So this one I just made. Let's come and edit that. There are only 4 frames. There's this cool little animate thing here. You can reverse it. Add reverse would add more frames, but reverse them. You can control the sequence. You can say it's going to clockwise, you know, colorize it. This will affect every one of them. So what you can do is you can stretch it. Right now it's 4 frames. If I want it to go twice as slow, I'll put it at 8 frames. And all it does is it just makes a copy of 0. Makes a copy of each one of them, so it appears to be slowed down. Because you see how this hand goes high to low in 1 frame. If you really wanted a better animation, they would have made the hand partway down, but they just went up, down, and then they controlled the feet on the last one. Although your brain kind of fills in the gaps. So that's how you can do that. One more thing I'd like to add is when you are in this screen, and a lot of things that you do, let's say I want to go image colorize it. It has this little checkbox down here where I can apply it to all images. So if you're making edits to all the images, you're in this view. But if you double click, transform or image colorize, it will just do it for this one. So yeah, you can make some kind of like psychedelic critter in there like that. All right, thanks. I hope this was helpful. Odell out.